Hi everyone, and welcome to week 4. I'm going to cover what you should be doing and working on outside of class this week. So looking at the week 4 information and study resources, we've got our chapter 2 hypothesis testing and error notes. They go along with the parts of section 2.1 and 2.3 that talk about the null hypothesis versus alternative. And also make sure to read and take notes on the big picture and 2 hypotheses, including examples from your hypothesis testing notes from statistics notes. The video here will just go along with the chapter 2 notes, and all of this should help you with not only the future in the class, because I promise you this is something that we will use again and again and again, is it the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis, knowing the difference. It's going to come up again and again, and it's going to be really important. So please make sure you understand this, make sure this is something that makes sense, because I promise you it's going to come up. You're going to need to know it, so it's really important. That's why we're doing so much over it this week, so please just make sure to take note of that. So for your assignments, first of all, project 1, final project. So the final project the final part of your project 1 is going to be due on Sunday. So in class this week, you'll have time to work on project 1 part 3. And then if you've got extra time, you can always work on the conclusion, because the conclusion will be the only part of this project that you haven't already done in class and gotten feedback on. So the conclusion, make sure that you add your conclusion. So otherwise it's just part 1, part 2, part 3 that you've already done. Just fix anything that needs to be fixed and put that in your project. But the conclusion is something extra that you will have to come up with and add to your project. Make sure to review the rubric for this assignment. It shows exactly how your project will be graded. So here is the rubric. If you go to just the final project, you'll see the rubric. Please make sure and check out the rubric. It literally tells you how much each part is worth. So part 1, 2, 3, the conclusion, and then just overall quality. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know. But this is worth a good chunk of points. So as a group, you want to do pretty good on this. So looking forward, so hypothesis activity. So the hypothesis activity, kind of the goal of this, you remember how I said you're going to really need to know how to do this, and it's really important because we'll use it again and again, basically for the rest of the semester. This activity is basically just designed to help you make sure that you understand it and to think about null and alternative hypotheses and how to come up with them and what they would be if you're given one or the other. I did provide the handout, so if you want, you can print this off or you can look at it before you go in and enter your answers into the quiz. So even though this looks like a quiz, it says it's a graded quiz, it's really just more like a worksheet that we're turning in on Canvas. So we're trying to go paperless here, right? So it's just like a worksheet. The only difference is please don't submit it until you're completely done. So what you can do, you can actually go in and out of it. So for example, I can go ahead and preview it. You would click that you would like to take the quiz. And all you do when you get down to the bottom of this, it will tell you that it's saved. So if I provided, blah, 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 we'll pretend this is the complimentary claim, it will tell you that the quiz was saved. If you click Submit Quiz, it will submit it exactly the way it is. So please do not submit it until you're completely done with it. But as long as whatever you've typed shows up that the quiz is saved, so it's here, see how it will show that the quiz was updated and saved. As long as you do that, you do not have to submit the quiz. You can go in and kind of work on it, and then all you have to do is just hit the back button or just go out of the quiz, click on something else, and it'll save all of your answers. So as long as down here it says the quiz was saved, so here it says quiz saved at 4:13, you can't see it on my computer, but it is 4:13 p.m. You know that you're good to go. You do not have to submit anything. You can go out, come back in, and all of your work will be there. So what does this actually look like? You're going to be given an original claim. You'll be asked if it's the null or alternative and why, and then you'll be asked to provide the complementary claim. So then you'll be given another original claim, null, alternative, and why, provide the complementary. So you'll just be kind of going through and doing that for all of these. And that is your hypothesis activity. So remember, this is more like homework. Even though it's set up like a quiz, it's more like homework. no time limit. The biggest thing though is you only have one attempt, so please do not submit this until you are completely done with it. All right, so looking ahead, final project, hypothesis activity. Our discussion for this week is when statistical data is misused. And so here it is. So here's some study resources, and what you need to do is just pick one. So there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick one of these situations. So you can check out the 4 different ones and figure out which one you want to use, but you only need to pick one of them and then discuss the following. So state the situation you picked or what was going on and briefly summarize what happened, and then using the information you learned about in the previous discussion. So remember how we've been talking about pretty much this whole, since we started the semester, about finding and figuring out whether things are credible, whether data is being misused, whether graphs are misleading. Use that information to talk about ways that these different situations could have potentially been avoided, and just kind of a general explanation, kind of discussion about it. The follow-up is just discuss what others have written. Do you agree, disagree? Just kind of a general follow-up. So the only other thing is the Chapter 2, Quiz 1. And for that one, it's just null and alternative hypothesis. It just kind of goes back to what I said. We're going to need to make sure you understand. So we've got a quiz on it. So hopefully this hypothesis activity will help get you thinking along the right things. If you have questions, please let me know. So if you're working on this hypothesis activity and you realize, hey, I really have no idea what I'm doing, really good idea then to contact me, come see me, let me know, email me and say, hey, I'm not getting it, can I get some help? Also, really good idea, make sure you go back through and review this Chapter 2 hypothesis testing lecture, and then let me know if you have any additional questions. So I hope this helps. That's your assignments for this week, and see you in class.